nothing is entrepreneurship. So I will not ask you if you know what entrepreneurship is, but anyone wants to become an entrepreneur or is an entrepreneur or... Oh, okay, 1, 2, okay, 3. So I will try to convince you to become an entrepreneur by telling my story, I guess. So my story is with music and entrepreneurship and free software is as follows. So I'm a drummer. I play the drums since I'm 7, something like that. And when I grew up, I became a teacher as well during my studies. I'm a classically trained drummer, so I do read notes, and I taught my students as well to read notes. And I'm also a software engineer, and so I try to mix both things. So when I was younger and was a teacher, I had a problem with sheet music, so scores. Since there is a lot of musicians, I don't have to explain what a score is, so it's good. And the problem is more or less the same as what we see currently on YouTube. We get a lot of videos on YouTube of people who are playing covers or their own compositions, and often we see the most voted comments, and these comments ask for sheet music, and often there is no sheet music available for it. So I had exactly the same problem back in the day when I was a teacher. I wanted my students to play a piece of music, and the sheet music was not available at all. And so I realized very quickly that the sheet music industry was broken, and it still is, and I try to fix it step by step. And it is broken for several reasons. The first one is the prices. The price of a piece of sheet music is very high. Also, the offer is limited. Like if you play the drums, you will have a lot of rock and roll, but if you like jazz or punk, it will be hard to find what you like. And often, especially for piano, you have to buy a full book. So if you want to play one song, you need to buy a book which is $50, and you will have only one song you want to play. That's very, very bad. And many other reasons, like it's slow for new release. You hear something on the radio, it's new, you want to play it, and you have to wait 3 months before you get the sheet music in the stores, and so on. So yeah, that was my what I saw when I was a teacher. So in the 90s, people came up with a solution which was just photocopying, like Xerox style, and they were buying sheet music and they were just printing it and distributing it, pirating it. It was not so good. And then around 98, people realized that there is this little thing called the internet. So they started to share sheet music they were just scanning online. So it was around this time that I started to take a look at the sheet music business and so on. Then in 2005, one of my co-founders attending the talk of these two guys, one after the others. Do you know these two guys? Yeah, I see some. So the first one is Jimmy Wales, the founder of Wikipedia, and I guess you know Wikipedia now. And the second one is Richard Stallman, who is the founder of the GNU project and who wrote the GPL, a license for free software, not open source software. If you are listening, Richard. And so yeah, when I hear these guys, and when my co-founder Thomas heard these guys, he said there is something in it: a wiki, free software, sheet music. We can do something. So we started with this mission to fix the sheet music market with the masses. So do a wiki and with the masses get sheet music available. We started a website called Wikiphonia in 2006 or something like that. So, yeah, bad design right now, but it was beautiful back in the day. And we started with very simple sheet music. People could modify it and re-upload it Wikipedia style. The problem is sheet music is not text, so this is not text. people had to get this sheet music in a format called music XML. I will talk about it later. And modify this music XML file with an editor. And so we realized like 2 years after that was a very hard thing to do to make a successful Wikipedia for sheet music, because there were no tool available and cheap in order to edit sheet music. So we said, okay, that's not going to work because the masses don't have the tools. We probably should fix the music business, the sheet music business, with creators and focus on the creators. And the creators, at this time, they had these alternatives, Sibelius and Finale, which are still in business. These tools cost 600 USD, so US dollar, and so, the same in Singaporean dollar, I think, now. And they are very powerful, but yeah, not that cheap. And so with these tools, you can enter music, save it to PDF, and listen to it, and so on. That was not going to work to have a wiki if people had to buy this kind of tool. So we needed a better tool. So we wanted to empower musicians to create their own sheet music with a better tool. So I met these two guys, and that was a long time ago, as you can see. And it was in Brussels, so it was cold. And so Thomas and Werner, we met Werner because in 2002, Werner is the guy on the left from Germany, Thomas is on the right from Belgium. And we met Werner because in 2002 he started a software called MuseScore. It was a little software on Linux, but it was working very well, and for us, the features were very good and very close to what Sibelius and Finale could do, and it was free and open source. So we started to work with Werner. Back in the day, we made a website called musescore.org, and we tried to gather a community of developers, users, in order to grow MuseScore. We made a forum, we made it easy to translate the website, and also we ported the software from Linux to Windows. That helps a bit, because people tend to use more Windows than Linux. And then to Mac OS, and that also helps because musicians like Mac more than Windows. So this website is still online, and it's a place where you can download for free MuseScore. And yeah, I will make a demo of MuseScore, of course, later. So it was around 2007, 2008, people were downloading MuseScore 10 times per day, 50 times per day. 2008, and then we started porting it on Windows, and then on Mac, and then at one given moment, Finale had an offer for a free software, which was limited, and they decided to make it $10 instead of free. I don't know why, but people figured out on Google very quickly that there was a new competitor, and it was good enough, and so they started to download MuseScore quite a lot, so that's still 2013. I think we double right now, and that's still growing now. So it was great. The competition, so MuseScore and Sibelius and Finale and another one, Guitar Pro, were not that happy. So you can see my previous schema stopped at 2013. Well, then you can see the rest. So MuseScore is definitely the tool, the most used tool to create sheet music right now, and still growing. So we were happy. We were the first music notation software in the world. We're still free, and we will remain free. We try to make it easy to use and powerful, so that's a challenge. Maybe we can talk about it, but yeah, we try as much as we can to stay easy to use, even if we add more features. And we tried very hard to make beautiful scores, so that people can make beautiful scores with it. Now we have 600 contributors, more than 600 contributors. Around 100 are actually coding. A lot of them are writing documentation. And MuseScore is available in 55 languages, which is crazy to me, because back in the day it was only in German. So now it's 55 languages. It's for Windows, for Mac, for Linux. It's a desktop software, if it was not clear. So I see a lot of desktop. You can download MuseScore. And it's becoming curriculum software in music education worldwide. I'm in Singapore because I was in Australia before, and the Sydney Conservatorium, for example, is using MuseScore. But I talk at the MIT, in Stanford, in London, the Royal College of Music. Every one of them are using MuseScore. So yeah, it's a desktop software. A lot of you know open source, so I guess a lot of programmers. So it's C++ and Qt. I say Qt, maybe you say Qt, but it's Qt. It's a lot of line of code. It's over 300,000 line of code. It's hosted on github.com. Who knows github.com? Or who doesn't know GitHub? Who knows github.com? That's not a lot of people. Okay, I will talk about GitHub a little bit more after that. And it's hackable. Well, it's more than hackable because it's free and open source, so you can look at the C++ code. But even if you don't want to look at the code, it's quite open. So you can write plugins. You can export the scores in many formats, including MIDI. So you can use it in in a sequencer, for example. You can send and receive MIDI, so MuseScore can send and receive MIDI. It helps to notate the music. And it can also receive OSC. For who knows what OSC is? Okay, so for the one who know, you can receive an OSC message to manipulate the score. So it could be used with pure data or with your own code, which is sending OSC messages. So when I'm here, normally at this point of the discussion, people ask me, cool, but now you are overseas, not in France, so how do you do that? Because cool, it's free software, and everybody downloads it, and so on, but how do you make money? So how do we make money? Suspense. We made another website. So I talk about MuseScore.com, MuseScore.org, but we made another website called MuseScore.com. On this website, people post the sheet music they made with MuseScore. So you can think of it a bit like YouTube, except the business model is different. But people post the creation they made with MuseScore on this website. I will show you the website live later. Yeah, they like to use it to share with the band or their choir or with their students, if they are teachers, and they pay for this service. They pay a subscription fee, and that's what pay the 3 co-founders and a couple of freelancers. On MuseScore right now, there are I think 300,000 or 400,000 scores. I don't remember, but we had several thousand scores per day, so a lot of scores out there. You can search for them. We have a search engine, so you can, if you play the flute, and you want to play with the saxophone, there is probably someone in Canada or in Japan or somewhere else who also wants to play this score and made it with MuseScore. So you can play the song you want with a flute and a saxophone because someone did it. If it didn't, then you can download MuseScore and do it yourself and put it on the website and it will work. You can download the score in PDF, put it on your tablet and play from there or print it. But you can also download it in several formats if you want to change it, especially the MuseScore format. So if it's not a flute and, what was my example again? Flute and a saxophone, and you want to play it with the flute and the trumpet, then you can just change the saxophone to a trumpet and MuseScore will transpose and it will work. Currently it's a huge searchable bazaar, like I said, meaning we don't have artist name, we don't have title and so on. You can just search by text, and it's the equivalent of YouTube 10 years ago, meaning there is a lot of content, but it's not, there is no order in it. So it's really a bazaar. So to make a summary of how it works, people are using MuseScore, they generate content, they put it on MuseScore.com, and then people can download the score, so you can download the score for free. The people who are paying little dollar and who pay for my travels are these guys giving some dollars here. This is cool, but there is a problem. when you make an arrangement for flute and saxophone of the last Shakira or I don't know, Lady Gaga song, Lady Gaga needs to get some money. So in the future we need to have these guys here and give a bit of money to these guys, so we will probably charge a bit of these people and a bit of these people. This is work in progress, we are trying to fix that. What we really want is stay free here, and we really want the creators to get the free notation software. And then, yeah, we'll see what we can do with that. Also, last thing, we have apps, and these apps are free, and some of them are for a small fee, I think $1 or $2. And so that also helps. With these apps you can display the score, you can transpose it, you can play it, so they are really made for people who want to study a given score. Voila. I will make a demo of MuseScore, because who has MuseScore on his computer? Okay, so a lot of people don't know what MuseScore is, so it's good that I show you. So this is MuseScore. When you start it, it's better on the big screen, but okay, like this. It looks like this. There is already a score made, but you can create a new one, like File New. You enter some title, and so on. You choose a template, or you choose instruments. Saxophone, no, flute. Of course, you can use 2 flutes and an oboe. This. You choose your key signature and some information about the score, and poof, you have a score which is empty. And then you enter the notes. To enter the notes, you need a mouse or a keyboard like this, or a MIDI keyboard, and you can plug to the computer. I like to use the keyboard. It's very quick when you are used to it, and I use shortcuts. The shortcuts are very easy. You press C, you get a C. You press D, you get a D, E, F, and so on. If you need to change the octave, there is a shortcut for it, and you change the octave. If you need to change the length of the notes, you can use the shortcuts or toolbar here, and I show you with the mouse, but really it's very... I can not do it very nicely like this. Yeah. And then you have your score. You are happy with it. You can add some stuff like this by just drag and dropping. If you want a sharp, you can just press up. Okay, that's not good. Press up and you get a sharp or a flat. You have a lot of options here to put articulations, accidentals, dynamics, everything you need to make a beautiful score. Voila. I can show you examples of what people do. Of course, in 2 minutes, if I would make a nice score in 2 minutes, it would be very boring. So I will not do that, because I said I will not be boring. So let me show you what people are doing with MuseScore. After an hour, you can get this type of thing. So this is Schubert, made by someone. So that's only for piano. Or this for violin, cello. For cello, or this for guitar. So we support tablature as well. So this is for 2 guitars. We even support. No, this is for euphoniums. Why not? Drums. We do support drums. I'm a drummer, so that's good. We support lute because we are open source, and someone who liked the lute wanted lute, so we implemented lute. So we have lute. That's cool. This is for choir, and people are doing all kind of stuff. This is a full score for a lot of instruments. I don't know. And yeah, Do I have another example? No. So, yeah, so this is it for MuseScore, MuseScore.com, and you can see some scores. If you have questions at the end, because some of you already are using MuseScore already, so maybe I can answer some question or give you some tips of how to use MuseScore more efficiently. We'll see. So let me go back to MuseScore. I can show you MuseScore here. Do I have one? A score in MuseScore. Well, of course I didn't say it, but you can play it. Huh? Oh, I don't have sound. So it does play. So when you did a nice thing like this, you also want to share it, like the other guys. You just do a save online here. You enter your username, your password. You should have done that. And then you enter the title, and you press save, and you get your score online. I think I have this one already. No, my scores. So this one is online here. You can play it online as well. And the cool feature of MuseScore.com is you can change audio sources and you can add YouTube video as audio sources. Like here I put a video. I'm on my phone. I don't know if it will work. Yeah, it does. Okay. The screen is a little bit small, but so you can see the YouTube video normally and the score together, synchronized. So one thing we really like at MuseScore is give people power, a lot of power, a lot of cool features, without showing them how complex it is. So this thing is done automatically. Like, we have a score, we have a YouTube video. I will try to do it live. Let me do audio sources and another source. Can I do it? No, I cannot do it. I can hear. Let's see if it works. I can add an audio track. So I go to YouTube, I search for someone playing the same song. Is she playing the same song? I should not have done a demo. It will never work. This guy? Let's say he's playing the same song, right? I take the YouTube video URL, I put it in there. I press save. I wait a bit. I do a little dance. No. Save. MuseScore is doing something, and it will automatically, normally, synchronize the video and the score. So people like this very much because it's very easy to just synchronize a YouTube video and a score, and then they can use it with students, show them how a maestro play this piece and how other students play this piece, different tempo, different expressions, and so on. And of course it will not work. It's normal. No, okay. Let's wait a bit. So this is it. Another thing people like is made with MuseScore. People like to put their scores on YouTube. So we saw a lot of people taking their phone and taping, recording the screen, following the cursor while the score was playing, and then putting this on YouTube. And we said, no, that's not a good solution. So we made a tool. They go on MuseScore, they press a button, they enter their YouTube credential, and the score is put on YouTube. So, for example, this guy made a score with MuseScore, and then, yeah, well, my bandwidth is not good. But then we make a video and we put it on YouTube for him, and it's clean and nice, and there is a little keyboard at the bottom, and it plays in sync with the cursor, and yeah, it's a lot better than taping your screen. So that's the type of little things that we give to our users. Voila. So I showed you MuseScore, I showed you how to publish a score, sync a score with a YouTube video, publish a score to YouTube, and I will not show you the last one. About free and open source software, so I already said the code is on GitHub, you can contribute, we have a lot of tools, but a lot of you already know free and open source software, so maybe I will talk a bit more. Students, are there some students in the room? People who are students? Not that much? Yeah, there are, okay. So I have two tips. The first one is for students who didn't know what GitHub is, they don't have an account yet on GitHub. You should get this pack. I would have loved to get this pack when I was a student. You get GitHub for free, and you get a lot of nice stuff and nice tools, some of them that we are using, well, GitHub, and I think, yeah, Stripe, well, a lot of things. So if you are students, please register for a github.com account and get the pack. It's free and it's a good thing. The next thing I want to talk about is Google Summer of Code. Who knows about Google Summer of Code? Who was a participant to Google Summer of Code? No? Okay. So MuseScore has been an organization for Google Summer of Code for 4 years. I was a mentor for 4 years. The motto used to be, and I think it was a good motto, so I kept it, is flip bits, not burgers during the summer. And so what's the point? So Google is giving money to students to work on open source projects. Every year, Google selects some software projects. They call them organizations. So they select some organizations, and they ask students to go to this organization and get IDs and implement these IDs, and then Google pay the students. I think it's $5,000 or $6,000 for the students to work on the project for 3 months. There is a long list of organizations. I think it's more than 300 last year. Fosasia, which is a Singapore organization, I believe, was there. Teammates, which is another university in Singapore, was there. And then you have Apache, Mozilla, FreeBSD, VLC, so names that you probably know, and yeah, 200 more. And MuseScore is in there, and I hope it will be in there next year as well. It works like this, so I talk a bit about it, but so organization apply, so MuseScore will apply in January, then organization gets selected by Google or not. So I guess, I hope we will get selected. Then students come up with a project, so they talk with the organization and they come up with an idea, like in MuseScore, I want to improve the MIDI import, I want to have a better sound or whatever. They talk with us and we try to guide them. Then the organization asks slots to Google, like we want 4 students to work on MuseScore this year. Google said, no, sorry, we don't have enough money, you will get 3, and we are happy. And we select students with the best ID and the best plan to get the ID done, and then student code during the summer. We try to mentor them and to say to them how to do it, and then they get paid, and everybody's happy. Google is happy because they get some insight of how open source software work, and sometimes they hire students when they are very good students. We are happy because we get code for free, and the students are happy because they don't flip hamburgers, they flip bits. So if you are a student, I encourage you to submit IDs and try to get involved with Google Summer of Code. It's a very nice program by Google, and if you want to manage and if you want to be successful with that, I encourage you to choose an organization, Mozilla, or or MuseScore, and start contributing to the project before Google Summer of Code, because that's the best way to get selected. That's it. Okay, that's something else.
And even publish and sell your own arrangements without paying a penny. The iconic works of Mozart, Beethoven, Bach, and other as yet undiscovered composers will be free for everyone to use, for any purpose, forevermore.
Yeah, so that was the goal. So we made the project on Kickstarter, and after a month, yay, success! We got $51,000, 51,249. So now we have to digitize 100 pieces and put a workflow in place in order to be able to digitize the rest of the public domain scores. In order to be successful, we made this in partnership with IMSLP, with Music 21, which is for the programmers out there who are dealing with music. It's a very cool toolkit in Python from MIT. And with RNIB, which is in London, an organization working with the blind and the visually impaired, and the University of St. Andrews, and Nicolas Rougeux, who is doing some nice stuff that I will show you. So why this is important? Maybe because maybe it was not clear until now. We want to take PDF and make MuseScore file with it. Once we have a MuseScore file, we can do a lot. For accessibility, the score will be very crispy and people can use this type of device in order to read it. Visually impaired people. We can make it a lot bigger, like this. For people who have dyslexia or this type of dyslexia, we can manipulate the score to make it color like this. And we can automatically also create braille from, well, the file. Then it helps because you can use the MuseScore tools in order to get your notation on mobile. Yeah, MuseScore.com, I showed you. It helps for education. You can listen to it, but also in this example you can translate, for example, the lyrics very easily. Research, I talk about Music 21. If you have all the body of a given composer in a format that you can parse, then you can search crazy things. I don't know how many times you use a particular line of music, a particular melody, a particular interval. And I talk with several musicologists and they say, back in the day, I need a year in order to go through all the work of Bach and find and ask a question and I get an answer after a year. If you have all Bach in a format that you can parse, then you can ask a question every 5 minutes. Yeah, musicology is radically different. Machine learning, I know some people here are into this. If you have a lot of scores, then you can give these scores to a software, and the software will learn from this score and generate more music, for example, or try to classify the music, or it can help also to digitize automatically the PDF. We will be very cool, meaning if we can do half of the work, meaning digitize half of IMSLP, and then teach a computer to do the other half, that would be great. Art. One of our partner was Nicolas Rougeux, and he do this kind of art. He use a MuseScore file, extract information, and then make such a piece of art with it. So many ways learning, make music games with the MIDI files, remixing, enriching, which is what I show you, for example, with the YouTube video. That's it. Do you have questions? We have half an hour, so please, questions.
Monsieur, devant toi. Yeah, just asking whether there are any plans to have handwriting inputs in MuseScore.
Short term, no, but it's open source. Are you a programmer? No, short term, no. My experience, so there are some tools who are doing handwriting recognition. So for people who are not aware of what it means, it will mean you enter with a pen, like the iPad pen, the Apple pen, some music, and the iPad or the computer recognize what you just entered. This is quarter note, and it's a C, and so on. My experience with this kind of tool so far is that half of the time you have to remove what you wrote and try again, and the computer thinks, and he writes something that is wrong, and you have to do it again. And it's very frustrating. If I sit next to someone who is using this and I'm using MuseScore, I'm faster, or twice faster, entering the music I want. So, yeah, so far, no. If someone came up with the ID and the skill, yeah, sure. I will have a look to the code.
Great talk, and great software, I'm sure. I have a question that, is it currently able to, if you play music or sing, is it able to create the scores from that, or do you know of any software that does that?
No. So it is not able to do that. Do I know software which try to do that? Yeah, I know a lot of software that tries to do that. Are they doing this again, it's a bit similar to the handwriting, at the rate that I would like to use them as a musician? No. But I know at least one app, which is called Hum, who is doing a gimmicky app, like you can get it on your phone and you whistle in it, and you get 2 measures of music, and then you can say, play it rock, or play it jazz, or whatever, and then you can share it on their website. So it's Snapchat-like, if you will, and so my business is more towards music education and conservatories and so on. So it's kind of different, but it works well for this type of purpose, of course.
But MuseScore, are there any plans to incorporate that feature?
We don't have this plan, no.
How easy it is to import the Finale files into MuseScore?
Yeah, good questions. So I didn't talk much about Music XML, but Music XML is the answer. So Music XML is a standard used by, I think, 160 different software, including Finale, Sibelius, well, you name it. Almost everyone in the industry is using Music XML as a format to export and import notation. So in Finale, you do file export to Music XML. In MuseScore, you do file import Music XML, and you get your score more or less good. I said more or less because Music XML is a standard with some good things, meaning it exists, but it's not perfect. So sometimes you get some differences between the scores.
In MuseScore, is it possible to define our own time signatures?
Of course. Well, it depends. You can define a lot of time signature, but I know some people are using time signature like 4 on 2 square root. You cannot do that. But if you wanted to use 11 by 32, sure, no problem. Yeah, of course. But yeah, stay reasonable.
Great talk, thank you. So a quick question is, the MuseScore examples that you gave us had traditional notation in them. But did you have any thought of extending it to graphic notation and other kinds of musical notation?
So, yes. Okay. So it depends. Graphic notation, it's a huge, it's another universe, huh? And it's a multiverse. There are like several graphic notation. We do have a bit of, we have some things for contemporary music, like feather beams. So these beams that do like this. So beam is between 2 A notes. yeah, the thing between two 8 notes, for example. We can do them like this, like crescendo type of things. So that's the beginning. Then, if you want to use your own symbols, because most of the time graphical notation it's about your own symbols, we make it very easy to use SVG in your scores. SVG is a vector format for graphics. So you can make a palette with your own symbols and put them in the score very, very easily. So that's the best way. Of course, you will not get playback, but most of the time with graphic notation, the playback and the symbols are your own thing. So yeah.
Thank you.
So thanks for coming and talking to an academic crowd. It's really important to hear about the source and whatnot. I have 3 unrelated questions.
Louder?
I have
Please, microphone.
I have 3 unrelated questions. The first one is score following. That demo you showed with the YouTube video. What happens? How are you doing score following, and what happens if there's a couple missed notes, or if they just upload a completely, irrelevant video?
So I don't call it score following. For me, score following it's live, and here it's not really live. We use a plugin from Queen Mary University, and like I said, I'm an engineer, not an academic guy, and I like to give people the power to use easily what the academic come with, and sometimes I want to give it to them even if it doesn't work very well. So if it doesn't work, well, it doesn't work, and that's it. So I show piano. It works very well with piano, this plugin from Queen Mary. For flute, sometimes it doesn't work that good because, well, the attacks and so on. For voice, it doesn't work very well. So sometimes people are very happy. If not, we give them a tool to fix it. And again, I hope that the fact that we give them a tool and they fix it, we can just get a feedback loop and use this information to give it to academics, and they improve their software and so on and so forth.
All right, question number 2. I didn't really fully understand the business model, and something that was surprising about it is that usually the content generators get paid for the content, but you're actually reversing that and having the content generators provide you with the content, and they're paying you to do that so that then it can be shared. Could you talk about that a little bit? It's not traditional.
Well, actually it is. SoundCloud, that you might know, is working the same. Flickr was working the same. A lot of companies are working this way. We do not ask people to pay to share their content. We give them storage, features, and they pay us for features and storage. But of course you can see it like in the other way, but it's not the case. Like we give them the ability to save the score privately, to make groups, I didn't show all the stuff that we give them. Another thing we give them, which is related with the score following, is a service to try to convert a PDF, so an image, to a MuseScore file. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. They don't really pay for it, but if they want to send like 20 PDFs and get a mail when it's done, then it's part of our pro offering. You had a third question.
All right, third question. Could you talk a little bit more about Google Summer of Code in particular? There's a cost when you hire a student. They're not physically there, they're remote. So there's a lot of time that you spend mentoring, and is it a win? It's a win for the student, I'm sure. Is it a win for you and the product all the time, most of the time? Are there not good examples that didn't go so well?
So I can only talk about my own experience. We mentored, I think 15 students. We failed only one. I failed my student this year. All of the rest, they delivered. Regarding time, I spend, it depends on the students, but I spend between 4 and 2 hours per week, which is cool. It's good. And we have at least 3 success stories for us. One of the success stories is OpenScore. It's led by a student which come from Google Summer of Code, and he's working on it now full time. He's paid by the Kickstarter, and so he joined the team, the MuseScore team. That's one thing. The other one is, I was talking about importing MIDI in MuseScore. It has been made by a student, a Google Summer of Code student, and I think last year there had been a paper by the Rochester University who evaluated all the MIDI import in Finale, Sibelius, and MuseScore, and the one of MuseScore is the best. They said, cool, and it's Google Summer of Code. So yeah, definitely valuable. We will do it again this year. And I was in San Francisco 3 times to talk with other Google Summer of Code organizations. They are all happy. Every year they candidate again. So yeah, definitely a good thing. Other questions? We have a lot of time.
Hi, so I'm curious about your plans to deal with paying for royalties from artists, and part of the choice that you made to not get users to include metadata like who the artist is when they're uploading songs, because that sounds like it is a challenge down the road, I mean, challenge now for you. Was that because you were trying to follow that YouTube Bazaar model, where you don't really, you stay kind of agnostic to what is in your content, so you don't have to deal with those problems until later?
That's it.
Yeah.
So that's it, yeah. So we are running under the MCA, which is an American law, and on MuseScore.com right now, there is no copyrighted content, or I'm not aware of it. If there is copyrighted content, then we get the MCA takedown notices, and we remove the content. And we notify the user, and sometimes the user do a counter notice and say, no, I'm the composer of this, do not delete it, and so on and so forth. That's the way it works. It worked until now. I believe it can work still sometime, but we know it's not a solution. And at one given moment, we will have to include the right orders in the loop as well, because yeah, everybody needs to be paid. One thing we are very strong about is it takes time to compose a song and to promote it, but it also takes time to arrange it. So when you are Lady Gaga and you compose a song, it takes time, but when you make an arrangement of this song for a marching band, well, you spend a couple of weeks doing this. And if you distribute it on MuseScore, I hope we can find a way to give you some money as well.
Thank you. I was wondering about OpenScore, and are you planning to manually transcribe these 100 scores, or are you using some kind of automatic object recognition for that?
Very good question, thank you. We are planning to make it manually. Actually, we already did 10 pieces already, I think. I'm not leading the project there, but for what I heard, it works like this. We take a score from IMSLP, it's like 100 pages. We give 3 pages to someone, 3 pages to another guy, and we said in a week we have the pages done, and then we take 1 or 2 guys to make a review of the full thing. It's public, so it's done on MuseScore.com. We have tools to annotate scores and say, yeah, it should be a D and so on. And so we do a couple of passes like this, and then we say, okay, it should be good. And we release a score on MuseScore.com/OpenScore. I think there are already 4 on /OpenScore, and 6 or 7 are in the pipeline too, and being reviewed and so on. Why we do that? I see that OMR so far, for us, it doesn't work well enough. We spend more time correcting the mistakes, so it's not good. Also, the goal is not to have a perfect type setting, it's to have the semantic all right, because in the end, like I said, we want Braille, or we want you guys using it for machine learning, and you don't really care if there is some lines colliding and this type of things. Also, we are working on the next version of MuseScore, and we hope that you can do the typesetting right automatically. Yeah, so that's why we focus on semantic. the first 100 like this, and I hope, yeah, academic come with a solution very soon, and that we can help.
I suppose you have Unicode support in MuseScore?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Why do you ask?
Because I use different languages for writing the lyrics.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we have scores on MuseScore.com. I saw scores in different scripts, from Russian to Thai, or different things. Nothing more?
Just to check that, how you compare your software with Guitar Pro?
Guitar Pro.
Yeah, I'm using Guitar Pro. Yeah.
How do I compare it with Guitar Pro? So first, let me tell you that we can import Guitar Pro files. From Guitar Pro 3 to Guitar Pro 6, we can import files. How do we compare it? Guitar Pro is a very good software for guitarists. It's made only for guitarists. The sound for guitar is good. MuseScore, it's more, the strength of MuseScore will be typesetting. The score will be a lot more beautiful and easy to read if made with MuseScore than it in Guitar Pro. But it will sound, in MuseScore it will sound not as good as in Guitar Pro. So that's the way I will make the difference. Then note entry, it's similar. Yeah. If your focus is sound, Guitar Pro is probably better right now. If your focus is getting a good score that you can play with your guitar and give it to people and be proud of what you give to people, MuseScore is better. That's my take on it.
Can I ask if there's any current development on searching for music online based on a score? Let's say I heard the tune, I want to find out what's the name of the song, and then I can write it out, the tune, and is there any feature right now that allows me to find the music based on, say, a score?
So, on MuseScore?
Yeah.
No. Well, I'm not working on it, and I don't know anyone working on it right now, but maybe there is. What I can tell you is all the scores on MuseScore.com, the public one, are available via an API. You can get the score, you can index them, assuming you're a programmer, and you can develop it. And I will be happy to talk with you and integrate it in MuseScore. There are a couple of services who are doing this, and I think at least one of them is indexing MuseScore already. So you can search by melody on this service, and now you will ask me for the name of it, and it's called Couplet, Kooplet. And so you can search the web and MuseScore included, I think, with it. Long time ago. I didn't use it a long time ago. But yeah, with MuseScore we do a lot of hack days, music hack days, and 5 years ago I tried to do something like this. My idea was that I would like to sit on the piano, play the beginning, or not the beginning, play some part of the song and get the sheet music up on my iPad. Yeah, it's an idea.
Any more questions? Okay, if not, I'd like to thank Nicholas for the very interesting and engaging lecture again. So, before we leave, I'd like to invite Professor Aditya, Head of Pillar ISTD, to present a token of appreciation to our guest speaker.
But maybe the background with some music. Thank you.
Some refreshments outside the lecture theatre, so feel free to